that our lovely producer was reading out.
Our producers pulled up an article from 2013 that says refs run more than the Premier League stars.
Yeah, but it's intensity. Chappers, you could go out there and jog around 14k in 90 minutes. It's not that difficult. But could a referee run at that intensity?
No. I think there's a bigger picture actually about how referees are organised, the number of them, the strength in depth, the help that they get, the pace and intensity of games, how you keep up with that. Listen, there are so.
I don't know.
Let me just say what.
Last year they were picked up at home and driven to every single game, so they didn't. They didn't have to mentally worry about getting to the games or have that concentration issue of driving for an hour or 2 hours or staying in a hotel for the night. So they're well looked after. They're professional. They're 7 days a week. There is no excuse why they can't do 2 games a week.
They are professional, and maybe they can do 2 games a week. But and you can be honest with me, when you do TV punditry, the number of pundits who go, I'll just need to see the replay before I make my mind up on that. That's the majority of pundits. It's a lot easier for you when you commentate for radio at a stadium that has a monitor so that you can see a replay. We can let everybody into this secret. When we go to games where there isn't a monitor in the press box, we feed it back to the studio to say we haven't got a monitor, i.e. help us with the controversial decisions.
It's the blatantly really bad decisions. Last night, Tottenham against Swansea. Immediately that goes in, you go offside. It was a dead ball situation, so the ball wasn't even moving. How do you get that wrong? You know, you're looking along the line. Ian Wright was fantastic last night, put on social media. #1job. That's what he had to do as it came in, and that could cost Swansea. How expensive could that decision be come the end of the season? It is his job. Yes, when it's borderline, and if it's a penalty, and we sit here and we debate it, and we go over it, and we argue about it, then I've got no issue. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. But when it's clear, that's when I think the referee should have to come out and say, this is what it is. Make them accountable. It might make them think twice about making rash decisions.
85058 at 5 Live Sport. We're at the Emirates this evening. Anthony Taylor is the man in the middle for his 3rd game in this festive period.
In how many days is that, though? Because the festive period for John Murray seems to have gone on for about 4 weeks.
I think from Boxing Day, that's when we count it, isn't it? Yes?
So what?
Yes, Boxing Day, yes.
How many days ago is that, John?
Well, that's a good question. 5, 8. Is that right?
5, 8?
8 days. 5, we're on the 3rd of January, that's 8 days, isn't it?
I'm getting out of this conversation. The ball's on the spot. The captains are shaking hands. It's all over to Danny Mills and John Murray.
Well, we're just about to watch Chelsea here, Danny. Guess who's just scored for Atletico Madrid tonight?
Diego Costa.
Diego Costa's scored 2 goals for Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey.
Did he kiss the
badge? We don't know that, but it's entirely possible.
But just going back to that, chap, is if you well, he's not listening, he might be not sure he's on air now. But
he does listen when
three
he's not
games
on.
in 8 days. That's Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday. Players do that all the time. That's not an issue. Players at this period have had 48 hours rest. When you have to think, peak soreness is 48 hours after a game. There's no way they're physically recovered properly after those games.
Well, the referee here at the Emirates is Anthony Taylor.
I'm going to turn my monitor off, John, and we're going to do it as we see it.
Anthony Taylor is just walking into the centre circle to take charge of Arsenal against Chelsea. The first match of 2018 here at the gleaming, as ever, Emirates Stadium. And it is the champions against the FA Cup holders who, remember, denied Chelsea the double in the final in May when Anthony Taylor was the referee. And he blows his whistle tonight. And Arsenal in the red shirts with the white sleeves, white shorts, red and white socks, get us underway and play the ball immediately back to the former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech, who is defending the end to our left, the North Bank stand of the Emirates Stadium. And I'll run you through the teams in full, but I think the most significant thing is that Arsenal are playing with a back three of Chambers, Mustafi and Holding. Rob Holding is playing his first Premier League match since October. Mesut Ozil is fit for Arsenal as well. Sanchez now playing the ball over the top, but it bounces through to Courtois. So the Arsenal team tonight, Cech in goal, 3 central defenders, Chambers, Mustafi and Holding. Koscielny is not fit ruled out with this Achilles problem that has been an ongoing problem for him. So Bellerin, Wilshere, Xhaka and Maitland-Niles, the line of four, then Ozil, Sanchez and Lacazette. And the Chelsea team tonight: Courtois, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Cahill, Victor Moses, Bakayoko, Kante, Fabregas and Alonso, and then Hazard and Morata. As I mentioned earlier, Danny Mills, I think that is just about the strongest available Chelsea team that he's played tonight, with all due respect to Pedro.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Kante sits in that holding role, Fabregas, Bakayoko either side, and then Hazard in behind Morata.
Oh, well, the Chambers is picked up for a foul as Hazard drives the ball into the penalty area, and it's deflected behind in amongst a nest of players on the edge of the 6-yard box. Alonso was challenged by Chambers. I must say, I thought it looked a good foul to me, a good challenge to me, but it was given as a foul. Fabregas now, corner taken short, but he couldn't keep the ball in on the left-hand side, and it's out of play for a goal kick to Arsenal. Danny Mills.
Chelsea took that very, very quickly, nearly caught everybody by surprise. Alonso was down, they played the free kick. Arsenal were almost caught sleeping. Hazard drove into the box. It was a cross-come shot, didn't really catch it particularly cleanly. But I think a certain intent that Chelsea really want to get at this Arsenal back three.
Yep, Chelsea, who come into this game in very decent form, starting the match 17 points behind the leaders, Manchester City, Chelsea. But they've won 5 and drawn 1 of their last 6 matches, and had a real canter, didn't they, against Stoke City on Saturday. As Arsene Wenger pointed out at the Hawthorns on Sunday, Arsenal had 1 day fewer to prepare for this game. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. This is the Premier League on 5 Live from the BBC. You can listen on the move as well via the BBC Sport app. And tomorrow night we'll have commentary on the Tottenham-West Ham game that was delayed from Sunday and caused so much ire for West Brom. So that's tomorrow night. But this evening we're here at the Emirates Stadium, where people are still filing into the ground. 7:45 kickoff in London. Always seems to be a tricky one. People back at work now. And Arsenal in possession against the Chelsea. And the all-blue kit tonight as Maitland-Niles is beaten to the ball on the right-hand side. And Chelsea go back into their own half. Victor Moses playing it all the way back. And it finds its way to Christensen on the edge of his penalty area. And then Courtois gets a touch. He's another player, of course, who's very much at the centre of transfer speculation at the moment. The Chelsea goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois. Chelsea passing it out from the back, but Jack Wilshere overran the ball there and collided with Kante, who stayed on his feet. Could easily have taken a tumble there. And Chelsea played forward over the halfway line, bounces off Morata, and then Xhaka slides in on Hazard, and in the central third Mesut Ozil takes charge. It's quite a mild evening actually. Mesut Ozil is wearing a pair of black gloves. I noticed 7 of the Arsenal players in the warm-up were wearing snoods. Hector Bellerin was almost completely covered by his hat and his snood. Bellerin's down on the right flank in front of us at the moment, and receiving the ball now. Hector Bellerin plays it past Alonso. Lacazette on the chase, but Christensen came serenely across and turned the ball back to Courtois. So Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0, and we're already in the 5th minute of the game. Only that one half chance, that shot come cross from Eden Hazard. Chelsea supporters in good voice over in the corner, the several thousand of them, and Gary Cahill, the Chelsea captain, with the ball just in front of where Antonio Conte is standing in his padded jacket.
I think Arsenal have just tweaked their formation a little bit. Ozil has sort of dropped into a right-sided midfield role, and they've almost gone 2 up front with Sanchez and Lacazette. I think that's to try and combat Chelsea's midfield 3. Fabregas, Kante and Bakayoko in there were getting too much of the ball early on, so Ozil's been asked to drop in and help out.
Yeah, well, as I say, when we saw Mesut Ozil at the end of last year play at Wembley for Germany, played in that deep lying position and played really well. Lacazette now challenged by Kante, and it's a foul. It's an Arsenal foul. Kante adjudged to have upended his French international colleague, and it's a free kick to Arsenal in a very good position just left of centre.
I think Lacazette was waiting for Kante to come in. Don't think he does too much wrong at all. I think it's a very, very soft foul.
That's Danny Mills, England World Cup player, watching Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. And so Sanchez, you would think, would be the leading candidate. He thought he'd scored the goal at West Brom on Sunday, but it took that deflection, was ruled to be an own goal. Sanchez here, though, it is just left of centre, takes a step up to the ball and then 3-4 strides back from it. Chelsea have a 4-man wall. Courtois waits just off his line. Sanchez hits the free kick. It's a deflection off the top of the wall, which carried it just wide of the top corner. Thought for a moment it might be going to drop into the top corner.
Courtois had no chance. Wall did its job, stood strong, were brave, came over there, and I think in the end it looked a lot closer than it was. To start with, probably 2 or 3 yards, never really troubled Courtois.
5 live, 0-0. And now Arsenal with a corner from the right-hand side, which is taken deep towards the back post. Header away by Cahill. It's nodded up and back in by Wilshere. And then another header away by Gary Cahill towards the halfway line. Yeah, it probably dropped about, a yard wide of the top corner. And Arsenal have it deep inside their own half with young Maitland-Niles.
It was that looping one, wasn't it? Courtois, he didn't scramble across. Clearly got his angles right and realised once it hit the top of the wall it was going to go wide.
Petr Cech just passing the ball out to Callum Chambers, the right-sided member of this Arsenal back three. Rob Holding did play in the Carabao Cup last month, Rob Holding against West Ham, but as I say, it's his first appearance in the Premier League since October, but did very well in the FA Cup final at the end of last season, you'll remember, against Chelsea.
What's interesting, a lot of teams are now trying to play like Manchester City. They're all trying to play out from the back because City is so good at it. But the truth is, they're not good enough to do it. Arsenal have just tried it there. They're under pressure. Players are getting the ball under pressure and they end up giving it away. City, the only team that don't really do that. They're quite comfortable. As were Barcelona when they were, when Pep Guardiola was there. They'll have the ball with 2 or 3 players on them and they won't give it away.
Yeah, last season, Danny, everyone tried to play like Chelsea. This season, they're all trying to play like Manchester City. If you remember, last season, this was really a defining fixture for Antonio Conte's Chelsea when Arsenal were excellent and won 3-0, going on several more. And that's when Antonio Conte switched to the back three, and they actually then went on that run of 13, the club record run of 13 consecutive league matches, which, of course, has been eclipsed this season by Manchester City. It is 0-0. Here is Eden Hazard as Chelsea play from right to left towards the North Bank stand. Gives it square to Cahill, who's joined the attack. Now Alonso on the left-hand side. Alonso in good goal-scoring form. Alonso plays it to his fellow Spaniard, the former Arsenal captain, Fabregas, who strangely, I'm not sure there was a single boo, as now Fabregas again plays it through towards the edge of the penalty area. Hazard very cleverly leaves it to Morata, plays it out to Alonso, who drives it in, double deflection, and cleared away by Chambers on the edge of the 6-yard box. And Fabregas just keeps it in, a couple of feet away from the touchline on the left-hand side, flicks it infield towards Alvaro Morata, Chelsea's 12-goal top scorer this season, their record signing. Cahill again. Chelsea dominating possession inside the Arsenal half, but then it's given away by Fabregas. Wilshere has to slide in to keep it for Arsenal. Now Bellerin plays it cleverly round one side of Alonso and manages to get round the other side. Now through the middle, Ozil to the left-hand side to Sanchez. Sanchez now lifts it diagonally in between Lacazette and Ozil, and the ball bounces harmlessly through for a goal kick.
Puts his hand up to apologise to Mesut Ozil, who did incredibly well. The weight of pass out to Sanchez, exceptional, as the majority of the time it is. But then he really gets on his bike, bursts into the box, looking for that ball. Really positive from Mesut Ozil.
0-0. Ball played forward from centre field by Bakayoko. It's headed away. It comes back to Morata. Morata's angled ball now. Hazard shoots from the angle on his left foot, but Chambers was able to get across and block it behind for another Chelsea corner.
Second time he's had a little bit of a swing, isn't it, with that left foot? Unusually for Eden Hazard. He didn't look particularly comfortable, but he shouldn't be getting into those gaps.
Cesc Fabregas, the bearded, quite long-haired Fabregas, former Arsenal captain, takes the corner right-footed towards the back post, and it is caught by the former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech, who delivers one downfield, and I thought that might have taken a touch off Kante, and referee Taylor agrees. It's been given by the assistant.
Cop out from the linesman, by the way. Waited until Anthony Taylor pointed that way, who was miles away from it.
It's teamwork, Denny. They were working together. I'm sure they were talking to each other.
You've got a flag, stick it up.
And it was rightly given as an Arsenal throw. The sort of scythed clearance from Cech. Just got a touch of...
One thing they do need to get rid of is the fourth official. I mean, that must be the worst job on the planet. Can't they just swap him with an administrator and have the fourth official sat in the stand? Because the fourth official, he has no power, does he? And all he does is just get battered from pillar to post by both managers.
As you remember last season when Arsene Wenger got his 4-match touchline ban, it was because of what he said to the fourth official, who was Anthony Taylor.
He pushed him, didn't he, in the end?
I think that was in the report, yes.
Oh, well, he put his hands towards him.
And I think the word dishonest might have been used. It emerged.
But it would be interesting if you took away the fourth official, the managers would have nowhere really to vent their anger to, and it might actually take away some of that tension. And let's be honest, all they do is stick the board up.
Anyway,
for
Danny,
substitution.
it's all going to change on Monday night when we have video assistant referees involved in the FA Cup tie between Brighton and Palace. Here's Hazard now dangerously into the penalty area, weaving one way and the other, and then tried a crossfield pass that has actually hit straight into the back.
I bet it's not used.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We've got commentary that night, as we have almost all day long, Saturday and Sunday. And it starts the FA Cup third round with the Merseyside derby on Friday night. Arsenal coming forward with Sanchez on the left-hand side. Here's Ozil, just drops his shoulder. Oh, lovely from Ozil. Back to Sanchez, left side of the area. Ozil, bag of energy, twisting one way and the other, waiting for the overlapping run from Maitland-Niles, who crosses to the near post. But Courtois is able to drop onto his knees and scoop it up with his gloves.
Really good open game. Both teams clearly intent on attacking. I think both understand the importance and having to win this game.
Yeah, just to underline that, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday, across 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extras, where we'll have at least 11 FA Cup third round commentary matches for you. As the ball's played over the top and Arsenal hesitate, and Morata is through, one-on-one with Cech, and he steered it badly wide. Cech came out, narrowed his angles, and Morata opened his body and steered it a good yard and a half wide of the foot of the post.
Well, let's deal with the finish first. How on earth he's missed the target, I do not know. But where was the defence? Chambers ran in the opposite direction. He ran away from the ball, ran away from Morata. It's very, very lucky. I think Mustafi has turned around and given him an absolute earful. He was expecting Petr Cech to come out, but he was expecting Petr Cech to come out 20, 30 yards outside his area. But the finish was woeful.
It was. As Arsenal now, well, that's some very good work by Lacazette, who rode a challenger 25 yards from goal and managed to give the ball out towards the left-hand side. Played back in towards the edge of the box, but it breaks down for Arsenal. And it remains Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. But what a chance that was for Morata. As, well, Xhaka is suggesting that he was fouled in centre field. But Chelsea have it on the left-hand side with Alonso. Now infield towards Hazard. Hazard clips a high pass out towards the left-hand side. Moses has lots of space out there. Chests it down. Now onto his left foot. Plays the ball into the near post. Morata slid in and it ran through into the arms of Cech.
I think Morata just slipped as he went in. Moses was given far too much time and space. Yeah, I think it was. Morata couldn't quite get his feet sorted out, and in the end, just misses his footing.
That was
slightly.
A chance as well.
Very good chance, but too much space on the far side. Arsenal are playing 5. They're playing wing backs, so there's no excuse for Maitland-Niles not to be on Moses' touch instantly.
As I say, Morata, 12 goals for Chelsea in his first season with them. Scored 2 in the last 3, but wasn't able to get on the score sheet against Stoke at the weekend. But could have had 2 already. Should have had at least 1. Quarter of an hour played, still Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0 on BBC 5 Live.
It wasn't just a little bit wide, was it? It was a good 3 or 4 yards wide.
At least a yard.
I might have been further than that. I mean, it was a really poor effort. He had so much time.
Ozil now for Maitland-Niles, does well into the penalty area. Moses has clipped his heels. Maitland-Niles went down, and referee Taylor immediately, who was less than 10 yards away,
book him,
waved his hands together to signify that it wasn't a penalty. But Arsenal come again, and the shot hits both posts. Oh, remarkable from Sanchez. It beat Courtois down to his right. It hit the post, ran along the line, hit the other post, and it fell back into the arms of Courtois. Sort of stabbing effort. I think Courtois might have got a touch onto the post. Well, that's remarkable, to hit both posts and stay out from Sanchez.
It was a toe poke from Sanchez from 6 or 7 yards out. Courtois got his right hand onto it, hit one post, rolled across the line, and then to safety. I have to say, goes down as a fabulous save from Courtois. But before that, Maitland-Niles going into the box, threw himself to the floor. Anthony Taylor doesn't give it, so therefore, well, maybe when the game stops, he books him. I don't know.
We'll see, because it hasn't stopped yet.
I think it was a dive.
And going back to the conversation we had before the match, we've not seen this again yet. And to the naked eye, I thought he was going to point to the penalty spot, I must say. It had the look of a penalty to my naked eye. To your naked eye, you felt it was a dive. Here's Xhaka playing it through to the edge of the area. Now Sanchez onto this. He must wonder how on earth he did not score there, Alexis Sanchez, who, if you remember, scored the opening goal against Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Sanchez dived in there rather. No free kick. Ball on the left-hand side with Arsenal. Played square now to Bellerin, who's quite central. Oh, Bellerin's pass was straight at Cahill on the edge of the area, and Chelsea will play it away. There is a Chelsea man still down, Moses, after that challenge from Sanchez that wasn't given as a free kick. By the way, Arsene Wenger, we saw a shot in the midst of all that with Wenger remonstrating with the fourth official because a penalty wasn't given for that challenge on Maitland-Niles.
So, like I said, if the fourth official wasn't there, he couldn't remonstrate with him, could he?
Here's Hazard playing it centrally towards Fabregas. It is still 0-0. Game that's really warmed up. Moses, well, you can hear what the home supporters think of Moses. They think he made too much of that. Moses' cross easily drops into the arms of Cech.
I think the issue for the Arsenal fans will be, why do Arsenal not play with this intensity all the time? This is exactly the intensity they played against Spurs, and they were brilliant that day.
That's actually become one of the age-old questions, hasn't it? Will we ever give the Elgin marbles back? Why don't Arsenal play with this intensity all of the time? That sort of thing. Here is Xhaka out to Maitland-Niles, and now comes back in field towards Xhaka, almost in the middle of the Chelsea half. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. And
so we haven't forgot about the penalty incident. The ball's just not gone dead, and TV don't normally put a replay and do they until that happens.
And now Arsene Wenger has managed to get his coat on, and also comes wandering out of the technical area to speak again to Craig Pawson, as Bellerin puts in a very good challenge on Morata, dispossesses him just near the halfway line, and Arsenal now with that intensity that Danny Mills was talking about. Ozil and Sanchez together, bounces back into the box where Moses is able to easily get there first and play it back to Courtois. Arsenal come again on the left-hand side. Sanchez once again setting off in field. Maitland-Niles, tall and leggy, plays it back into central area to Xhaka. Shoot, they shout, after that goal that he scored against Liverpool here. Sanchez then lays it through into the box. It's back-heeled by Maitland-Niles. Sanchez again looks to win the corner, does win the corner. And Arsenal have it on the left-hand side. And I think, Danny, we might be about to see the incident.
Trips himself up.
When Maitland-Niles went down, he did, tripped himself up. Absolutely correct. Corner for Arsenal, played across, bounces towards Chambers at the back post, but Bakayoko put in the challenge, and it rolls out of play for a throw into Arsenal on the right.
I think Chappers has just sort of mined to me, was it a dive? I think he trips himself up accidentally, but then he appeals for the penalty.
Right.
So therefore, he's faking it. So therefore, the referee should book him. If he doesn't appeal for it, no, it's just he accidentally trips himself up, not a problem. But because he's appealed, surely that's simulation.
Just getting, and what is this, a third or a fourth chance to see it again? Now there is a touch there. There is a
on
touch.
himself.
No, is there not a touch on his heel onto Moses' leg?
No.
Which, Moses is. I think it does. I think he does catch Moses. Here's Morata, plays it over the top, but it's not Moses attempting to catch Maitland-Niles.
Doesn't have to be. Even if he's just running, he catches him. If he catches him, it's a foul. It's a penalty. I think he trips himself up. I don't know how.
But listen, it's a perfect example of what we were talking about before the game, because we've now seen that 4 times. 5 times?
And this is where I don't have an issue with contentious problems. It's when the decisions are absolutely blatant, and we've seen quite a few of them over the extended festive period.
Incidentally, this very incident here, Moses on Maitland-Niles, would be a very interesting call for the video assistant referee. Here is Maitland-Niles on the left-hand side. The number of pivotal characters already in this match. Maitland-Niles is one. Sanchez with that remarkable shot that Courtois saved onto one post. It rolled right across the goal line, hit the other, and back into the arms of Courtois. And then Morata with the chances that he's had at the other end. Here's Bellerin, still 0-0 if you've just joined us on 5 Live. Deep cross to the back post, headed away by Moses. Xhaka brings the ball down, shoots, but it was immediately charged down by Kante. And Arsenal back in possession with Jack Wilshere. Turned 26 on New Year's Day. It's driven across the penalty area. Turn and shot by Lacazette, and Courtois does very well to get low down to his left, throw out his arm and deflect it round the post for a corner.
Fabulous turn and shot from Lacazette round about the penalty spot, and an even better save from Courtois, low down to his left, fully stretched. Gets a really strong hand and manages to divert it round the post.
Lacazette's not scored in his last 6 appearances. Here's the corner, swung in by Ozil and cleared away at the near post, volleyed away towards Hazard, who's able to take it under pressure from Bellerin. Chelsea with it inside their own half, and it's played up towards Bakayoko. Bakayoko, tall and strong, moves away from Sanchez. Alonso's available, marauding forward as he likes to do, the left wing back. Now back to Bakayoko, little ball to Alonso, who tried to flick it, got it all wrong on the edge of the box, and so Arsenal now look to bring it away themselves. Sanchez just back behind him, where Xhaka's pass is awful. It's behind 3 Arsenal players who are breaking forward. Ozil vainly tried to throw himself and keep it in front of Arsene Wenger, but it was out of play, and it's a throw-in to Chelsea. 0-0.
But when we go back to the decision and penalty, we can argue about it. We're not quite sure. If the referee have given it, you go, okay, I can see why he'd given it. I can understand why he doesn't give it. We talk about the blatant decisions. The last penalty decision given against Arsenal, nobody on the planet thought it was a penalty. And that's the difference. That it's those big decisions, not the contentious ones, not the arguable ones, the ones that are clearly wrong that need to be eradicated.
So it's 0-0 between Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal 8 matches unbeaten in all competitions. Chelsea 6 matches unbeaten. Here's Hazard just outside the penalty area, lays it back now to Fabregas. Fabregas strokes it to the right hand side. Moses is there. Moses taking on Maitland-Niles, who recovers and blocks it with his shins behind for a corner to the champions from the right. And Fabregas begins to move over there to the far corner. 363 appearances for Arsenal he made, and look at that as well. He's being applauded there by many of the Arsenal fans down in that corner, and he raises a hand of acknowledgement. Crikey, that's a collector's item in the modern game. Fabregas then takes it in towards Bakayoko, who heads it high under pressure over the angle of post and bar.
Wait till he scores and we'll see if he celebrates or not. See what sort of reaction he gets then.
Well, I think he's quite within his rights to celebrate, isn't he?
And rightly so.
Yeah.
But it's an incredibly open game, isn't it? Both teams really going for it, really trying to get the win. Maybe Arsenal as much as anybody. Perhaps Arsene Wenger said, look, this is absolutely vital that you go and win this game.
Bellerin has done Alonso again for the second time, plays the ball around one side and goes round the other and beats him for pace. And then infield, the crew-cutted Jack Wilshere now to the left-hand side, where Ozil is able to just roll it back towards the halfway line. Xhaka plays it to Chambers, who's joined the attack. Now Bellerin with his shiny black hair tied up behind his head. Chambers Arsenal loses out to Morata. Morata now infield towards Hazard, but it was slightly behind him. Mustafi read it. Mustafi's pass. Well, Lacazette was in an offside position, but Chelsea are in possession themselves, so referee Taylor waves play on. And here is Kante.
I think Arsenal have to score before half-time. You know, they're in the ascent, they're playing really well. If they don't get a goal before half-time, they've almost surprised Chelsea, I think, with their intensity and their attacking intent, the way they've come out of the blocks. I think Conte will get Chelsea in at half-time if it's still 0-0 and will address that situation, and Chelsea will come out slightly different in the second half.
Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. And now Wilshere's up pass just evades Ozil 25 yards out, and Courtois has got the ball at his feet. I'm not sure we gave Courtois as much acclaim as we should have done for that save that kept out the Sanchez shot that hit both posts. Chelsea have kept clean sheets in their last 4 Premier League matches, and that was some save, helped out by the posts, but that is part of his defences. Here is Fabregas, plays it infield towards Hazard. Hazard twisting one way and the other. Now Fabregas takes it on again, slips the ball through to the edge of the area, and the shot from Bakayoko. Petr Cech, it was a good height for him, but he hit it well, Bakayoko, and he had to make a reaction save to push it over the crossbar.
Brilliant from Fabregas. 2 little 1-2s, slides it through, and Bakayoko, it's within Cech's. He doesn't have to move, does he? He throws his arm up to the left, and it's within that range. Good reaction save. I think Bakayoko could have possibly done a little bit better, although he was under pressure from Maitland-Niles.
Fabregas then with the corner from the left-hand side that is headed up over the angle of post and bar. I think it was Morata who got his head to it, or was it Cahill?
He's given him a free kick anyhow, I think, for holding, pushing.
That save that Cech made there, did you see the pictures recently of Cech, who was practising, I think, with table tennis balls that were being fired at him?
Oh, two at a time and things like that. Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely outstanding.
And it was a save a little bit like that, wasn't it?
Just
because
reactions.
It was hit very quickly, quite close to him, just above his shoulder. That's why they do it.
Well, it is, and people will say, well, you can't practice things like that. Well, you can.
Poor ball out by Chambers. Chelsea are all over it. Kante now. Hazard into the penalty area, checks back on his right foot, shoots, and it actually hits the back of Chambers, who had committed the initial error. Chelsea coming again though. Alonso out. It goes from him on his left foot to Moses. Bakayoko, who's just been denied by Petr Cech, and then Moses came back from an offside position, so Arsenal have a free kick. Played almost half an hour. It's been quite entertaining, Danny Mills, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been very entertaining. I mean, end-to-end tackles flying in, another one goes in there.
Fabregas
on Lacazette.
Upended Lacazette. The ball had gone, but referee Taylor's playing an advantage here.
Great intensity to the game, isn't there?
Jack Wilshere now to Sanchez, out to the left-hand side to Maitland-Niles on this quite mild evening, really, for early January, after Storm Eleanor blew across the country. Oh, pass overhit badly by Mustafi. Straight through the middle, really, for Courtois to pick it up. But in the wake of the storm, as I said, it's actually quite a mild night. Here's Cahill at the back for Chelsea. He allows Christensen, the young Dane, to bring it forward. Fabregas's pass straight at Chambers. And now Arsenal might be a little bit of space here for Ozil, running at the Chelsea defence, uses Sanchez to his left. Sanchez tried to play it across to Wilshere, bounced back towards Sanchez, but Azpilicueta was able to run away from Sanchez with it, and under pressure from the Chilean, cleared it to Moses, who himself was put under pressure by Maitland-Niles, and it's come off Moses for a throw-in to Arsenal, level with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Still goalless, with a quarter of an hour to go to half-time. Maitland-Niles, one of the England under-20 World Cup winners, another one of that squad, who's receiving now quite a bit of game time this season. That's what everyone called for, didn't they, when England won that trophy at the end of last season. Here's Jack Wilshere now, obviously very much hopeful of a place in Gareth Southgate's senior World Cup squad. Jack Wilshere, and he himself seeing more and more game time. Now Sanchez loses out, and Chelsea have it on the edge of their own penalty area with Kante playing it back to Courtois, who's just got a stretch here. The Chelsea goalkeeper, all in yellow, with his left foot, keeps it in. and then hits a high ball forward, which is won in the air by Mustafi. And now Hazard is onto this, but overruns it into Bellerin. Oh, Fabregas was there, and then Jack Wilshere slid in late, and it's a yellow card, the first of the match. Just late by Wilshere on Fabregas, who was able to leap out of the way, but I think there was just a little bit of contact as well.
A definite booking. It was late from Wilshere. It was quite high. I think he catched him quite high up the shin, near the knee in the end. In fact, it's very late indeed. And that's the problem with Jack Wilshere. And that's a lot of the time how he gets himself injured.
Free kick is taken to Hazard, who was in space on the left-hand side. Hazard then goes for the byline, and it rather strangely seemed to kick up there. And as a result, he has volleyed it right across the penalty area, way above anyone else, and it's out of play for a goal kick.
And we all want Jack Wilshere to be in great form, go to the World Cup, and if he's playing and he's fit, every chance that he'll play for England. You know, he's definitely good enough. But those sort of challenges where he either overruns the ball himself or he dives in, and with that sort of action that he's got, that sort of bandy leg, that's when he tends to injure himself.
Well, he started 6 of the last 7 matches now for Arsenal, Jack Wilshere. And his Arsenal team now with Rob Holding, who was just being impeded there, and it's a free kick to Arsenal near the halfway line. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. Once we're done here at the Emirates Stadium, we'll be off to Sydney this evening as the ball is played through to Lacazette, who is in an offside position, because the 5th test, the final test, begins at the SCG, the iconic SCG, this evening. We will be handing over to Jonathan Overend and Ebony Rainford Brent at 10 o'clock this evening, and they'll take it all the way through to 10:30 when the toss will take place in Sydney. As Arsenal now take possession again with Ozil running from the halfway line, plays it infield towards Wilshere, but Fabregas came across, read it well, Fabregas, and was able to nip in front of him just as Wilshere was looking to shoot, and it's cleared to the halfway line.
You're right, Jack Wilshere was just about to pull the trigger, and Ozil just managed, Fabregas just managed to get his foot in front, and Jack Wilshere ended up just stabbing the back of his heel.
Arsenal coming again through the middle with Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles comes through a couple of challenges, and then it's played over the top but beyond Lacazette by Sanchez and through for Courtois, so still 0-0. Yeah, and of course tonight the commentary test match special on 5 Live Sports Extra, also via the BBC Sport website and app, for the ball-by-ball commentary with Michael Vaughan and Jeff Boycott and Graham Swan and Glenn McGrath, all part of the commentary team. Ball played by Moses along the edge of his own penalty area. Lacazette stretched for it but couldn't reach it, and Chelsea just dicing dangerously at the back.
Great through ball from Moses, wasn't it? I mean, seemed to catch Lacazette by surprise. Wasn't quite expecting it. I think none of us were.
Fabregas on the left-hand side for Chelsea, looking to hit one of those passes. Oh, he has! And it was into the path of Bakayoko. It's sort of midriff height, and he wasn't able to take it down, and it ran away through for a goal kick.
Again, I think he was a little bit surprised that Rob Holding doesn't head this ball. Doesn't even jump for it. I mean, if he'd have jumped, he'd have probably flicked that on. It's probably what Bakayoko was expecting, and then when Holding left it, it was a little bit too late to react.
Well, Danny, when the teams were named tonight, and we saw that Arsenal were going to play with this back line of Chambers and Mustafi and Holding, you know, you were suggesting the inexperience in there, and they've had a couple of moments, haven't they? But they've survived them, and with 10 minutes to go to half-time, it is still 0-0.
Just think Arsenal have to score in this half. They're playing well. They've been on the front foot. They've created chances. And they surprised Chelsea. I mean, it surprised us, and they've surprised Chelsea. I think Conte will address that situation at half-time, and Chelsea will come out and play either a slightly different formation or a slightly different style in the second half.
Still goalless as Cech plays it out from the back. Lacazette with a touch on the halfway line, and now Ozil is driving forward on the right and then cuts back into his left foot. Lovely touch on the ball as ever, Mesut Ozil. And now it's been driven forward by Sanchez into the penalty area. Maitland-Niles arrives on the left-hand side. Back to Sanchez, who flicked the ball away with his wrong foot, missed his kick, recovered, and then Ozil plays it in. And across comes the covering header to nod it away from danger from Azpilicueta out of play for a throw down the right.
Looked like a really good skill from Alexis Sanchez. It swung with his right foot, hit it with his standing foot. I've seen players do that, but I don't think that one was deliberate.
No. Still recovered though and hit a pass. Here's Bellerin. Arsenal take the throw. Bellerin loses out and it's been smuggled away by Hazard, who's now run from deep inside his own half to the halfway line. He's being joined by reinforcements in the shape of Moses on the right flank. Bakayoko is there as well. Hazard wants it again. Middle of the Arsenal half now. The dangerous little Belgian plays it to the right hand side to Moses. Moses cross, strikes the back of Maitland-Niles and loops straight up in the air. Again, Moses on the right hand side. He does get the crossover. There's no one there at the back post for Chelsea. Bellerin headed it away for Arsenal. It's come back at the Arsenal defence here. Challenge from Xhaka on the edge of the box on Bakayoko that is given as a free kick. Just a couple of feet outside the Arsenal penalty area. Arsenal protest, Xhaka protests, but it's a free kick.
It's a late call from the referee. It's a really poor header from Bellerin. Height and distance is what you've got to get. I don't think that's a foul. I don't think Xhaka does anything. He comes in for a bit, maybe.
Actually goes in for the challenge by placing his foot
in between
his legs from behind, and there is contact. So Alonso, we know that he can be
but it
so
was
dangerous.
It was the header from Bellerin. You cannot try and play and head it down on the edge of your box.
Yeah, he headed it centrally away into the edge of the penalty area.
It's very difficult. It's level with a post, a foot outside the box. It's hard to get this up and down over the wall. He's almost got to go for power in the open side where Cech will be.
Well, Cech is giving a lot of attention to his left side, and he's lined up the Arsenal wall immaculately here. It's a six-man Arsenal wall. Alonso with a free kick over the wall, but 2 or 3 feet over the top as well, and he wasn't able to get it down after clearing the wall. 0-0.
So hard to get it up and down with a little bit of pace from that distance. I think sometimes you're almost better just driving it towards that far side. You might get a little ricochet, you might get a little deflection, and that will cause Cech serious problems.
Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. Tomorrow night, live from Wembley for Tottenham West Ham. Steve Claridge will be with Alistair Bruce Ball. Tonight, Danny Mills with me as Jack Wilshere challenged by Bakayoko. Referees played an advantage. The Arsenal fans wanted a free kick. Ozil shoots from an angle and it bounces across Courtois' dive to his left, but wide as well.
Really good shot from Mesut Ozil. No backlift at all. Picks the ball up, has a look up, sees Courtois, tries to drive to him. I think Courtois would have got there. Pulls his hand away at the very, very last minute, gets his angles absolutely perfect.
Arsenal again in possession inside the Chelsea half. Ozil and Sanchez together. Ozil in the box on the left, flicks it across to Sanchez, who tries to turn, but Fabregas went in there and then Sanchez dives in on Fabregas. And Fabregas very quickly up on his feet and actually puts his arms around Sanchez, almost as if to say, there's no need to go running at the referee. That was right. That was quite strange.
It was. I mean, Fabregas jumped up very, very quickly. It was a foul. He did come in from behind, through his arms. And I think Fabregas went to sort of remonstrate with him, didn't it? And then it sort of like it turned into a little man hug.
Yeah, he did. Put his arms around him. Everybody's smiling and laughing.
Very, very festive, John.
It wasn't festive. Just a little too late for our feast of festive football this Christmas and New Year. Here's Lacazette, plays it to Bellerin on the right-hand side. Bellerin's ball across, a little touch from Ozil, that was lovely. Xhaka shoots into a sliding Azpilicueta. Now Sanchez's ball over the top, no overhit, over the top, straight through to Courtois. Still 0-0, Danny Mills.
Oh, it's incredible. Arsenal have had some great chances, Chelsea have had great chances. How it's 0-0, I don't know. Courtois, brilliant save early on to tip it on, and it went across, hit one post, then the other post, and then another really good save after that from Lacazette. Morata with a one-on-one. How he missed the target, I do not know.
Yeah, and the Maitland-Niles, was it a dive? Was there contact incident involving Victor Moses? And now Arsenal again with Ozil to play it through towards Sanchez, just cut out on the edge of the box by Christensen. And now Hazard again receives it. He's running at the Arsenal defence. Remember that goal that he scored against Arsenal at Stamford Bridge last season? Do you remember the way that he shrugged off Coquelin? That was one of the goals of the season. Here is Hazard again on the right-hand side, but Maitland-Niles arrives just at the same time. The ball deflects behind, and it has been given as a Chelsea corner from the right, which is taken short by Hazard. And now Hazard gets it back in the box on the right, pulls it back. Arsenal defenders in there, and then a foul by Bakayoko on Xhaka. Ironic cheers, because it was Xhaka who was pulled up for foul on Bakayoko a few moments ago. 0-0 with half-time approaching here, and what is quite a sort of light mist hanging in the air under the bright floodlights of the Emirates Stadium. Kante playing it away through the middle towards Morata, who at that...
Thought he might have called it a festive fog, John.
A festive fog? No. It's certainly not a fog. The ball is played back to Christensen, who I must say impresses me every time I see him. Andreas Christensen. This is now, what's that, 17 and 4, 21. This is his 22nd appearance for Chelsea this season, having come back from Borussia Mönchengladbach. No David Luiz, but as the middleman of the three central defenders, a very composed young man. Here is Wilshere playing it back to Chambers, who's able to roll it back to Petr Cech. Made a couple of important saves, Cech as well, as Arsenal played out from the back. Xhaka's ball forward. It's headed away by Moses. There's no offside flag against Ozil, but it was headed away by Moses. Again from Wilshere, but played in a central area where Sanchez was surrounded by Chelsea players.
It's not a foul. It's not a foul.
And then Wilshere is challenged by Fabregas, and that is given as a foul and a yellow card, Danny, by Anthony Taylor. Fabregas can't believe it.
I don't think it's a foul either. I mean, he slides in, he gets the ball. We're now having a look at the replay. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's completely the wrong decision.
So we've had two yellow cards. Wilshere for
in real time, Mark Chapman, without looking at the monitor.
Wilshere correctly yellow carded for his challenge on Fabregas, but now Fabregas yellow carded, you feel, Danny, unfairly for what you feel shouldn't even be a foul.
He slides in, gets the ball, it's not high, and then the two of them collide. There is always going to be contact when two players are sliding in. Simple as that. It's not a foul.
Still goalless. Half-time, just over 90 seconds plus added time away. Here's Sanchez near the edge of the penalty area. The two number 7s together, Kante and Sanchez. Kante comes out on top, nips it away from the Chilean. And now Morata running free, plays it from an angle towards Hazard. And there's a good challenge from Callum Chambers when Hazard was threatening to nip it away from him, but he slid in, put it out of play.
Good counter-attack. I thought Hazard was just going to beat him to it and nick it past him. Great sliding challenge from Chambers. Throw
into Fabregas, who got around Bellerin there, but Bellerin has recovered and is able to just pop it behind for a corner to Chelsea from the left-hand side. Half-time approaching. We will be making regular visits to Sydney during the course of 5 Live Sport before Phil Williams then eventually takes over. Test match special on air tonight from 10:30. But here's Fabregas with this corner to the near post, which is comfortably headed away to safety. And Chelsea are back in possession with Hazard and Fabregas on the left-hand side. Fabregas now to Alonso, tall and stately, the left wing back with that magnificent mane of hair of his. Deflects the ball out of play off Xhaka, takes the throw himself, Alonso, and takes it straight to Lacazette, who's able now to work it forward towards Ozil, who's down. Ozil breaking away, two Chelsea players with him. Kante puts in the challenge and wins it back for Chelsea. Brilliant from Kante. Hazard now, danger here for Arsenal. Reverse pass, Fabregas with a chance from just inside the box, but he steered it over the angle of post and bar, and he puts his hands to his face, the former Arsenal captain.
Again, he should hit the target. Great break from Ozil, an even better tackle from Kante. Little reverse pass from Fabregas, who then follows his ball forward. I thought Hazard should have gone on the outside on his left foot. Tees it up perfectly for Fabregas, leaning back, trying to bend it towards the top corner. Just leans back too much and misses.
into added time. 1 minute of added time. Well spotted, Danny. And now Chambers hits a pass that will bounce away through for a goal kick, because it's on the scoreboard. Yes, well pointed out. 1 minute of added time. So 0-0, and well, lots of incident.
Fabulous game.
How it's 0-0.
I was at Manchester United, Southampton.
Yes.
Which was the dullest 0-0 on the planet. This one has been complete opposite. Chances at both ends. Both teams really having a go, creating chances. I just fear that Arsenal maybe have just edged it on the really good chances they've had. Maybe needed to score, because I think Conte will make some sort of changes at half-time.
So Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. Arsene Wenger just talking to Bellerin as they came off the field together, and the players heading towards us, towards the tunnel, the red tunnel, which has been extended out towards the side of the pitch, into the dressing rooms. And also Cesc Fabregas is clearly still, he's talking to referee Taylor here and his assistant, and Fabregas, he's got a smile on his face. This is all about the yellow card that he was shown, and Fabregas, well, his body language, is clearly there suggesting that he's saying to Anthony Taylor, that was never a yellow card in 100 years. But Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0 at half-time, and much for Mark Chapman to discuss, who's with us here in the lower tier of the Emirates.
If I was a world-weary Arsenal fan, which I'm not, but I know plenty of them, I would be fearing a Chelsea 1-0 here, in the sense that they've had their chances, they've played really well, and yet in many ways very similar to as we were talking about pre-match, the Manchester United game, the Liverpool game to a lesser extent, they haven't taken them, and Chelsea look a threat.
The Tottenham game here was similar, and they scored just before half-time, didn't they? They managed to get their nose in front, and of course that gives you a massive lift going into half-time. You have to score when you're on top. When you're creating chances like that, and when you're playing against a good team, you need to make it count, because Chelsea will address that situation now. I think they surprised us, they surprised Chelsea with their intensity, with their drive and desire going forward. Conte will make changes, whether that be personnel, tactically, or even just, a little bit of a rocket up the backsides. He will make them come out, and Chelsea will come out better in the second half.
Here's an anonymous text that's come into us on 85058. It begins OMG in capital letters, which I know John Murray will appreciate because that's his kind of lingo. OMG, how can nobody see that Moses touched Maitland-Niles with his knee, and that threw his leg behind the other? This is what you are paid to see.
Well, how can no one see it? We didn't see it till about, was it the fourth or the fifth replay?
And in all fairness, we are 100 yards away.
So we did see it eventually, but I think it's a great example of, certainly the first three replays.
Yeah, and these are not the decisions I'm complaining about. These are those sort of decisions where, was there slightest touch, was there not? Very, very difficult to tell. Can go either way. And that's why we love football, because you have that little bit of jeopardy in there. It's the blatant decisions. And I look at the Fabregas tackle, the yellow card. It's not even a foul, let alone a yellow card. Now if he just tugs someone's shirt and gets sent off, again, could change the course of the whole game. And it's those blatant decisions that we need eradicated.
I sort of guessed from your commentary, John, that you then doubt that VAR would be successful in something like that penalty.
I've said it'll be interesting, because it will, to see, because of the fact that it was only a later replay that really spotted the touch from Moses. How long are we going to see it work? How many replays will they run? Will that sort of replay be instantly available? These are all questions.
I would assume that that kind of replay would be. I think the replays are available from all angles immediately.
The whole point of VAR,
it's just when the TV director decides to run it in.
Yeah,
and that's normally.
I'm not sure they are though.
They are. Normally they wait until, for the TV, they wait until the ball goes out of play in case something else happens and it gets missed, like we've seen before.
TV man Chapman gave me a very definite nod there that those replays would be available.
But the whole point of that is, whoever's looking at it would go.
Okay, hang on.
No, they would go
another one for you.
No, they would go. You go inconclusive, and you stick with the referee's decision.
What about the incident in the last test then, when who was it? Who was who was caught out with his glove right up. And do you remember?
Yes.
There was a replay that only later became available.
Yes. So was that Mark Stoneman?
It was Stoneman, yeah. So how does that work then?
Well, I'm not responsible for how the Australian. I'm not responsible for directing cricket. The same way I'm not responsible for directing football.
All I'm saying is that it is possible in sport and television for another replay to be available later.
But I think with the amount of cameras at football matches that are, TVs have them readily available, pundits have them. They've looked at them probably before they actually go on air, so that they know what they're going to say beforehand. In a case like we've just seen, the decision would be, we're not sure, stick with the referee's decision. Simple as that. Yeah. And I have no issue with that.
And again, we should say on this conversation that this is a system that is still being trialled. When it comes to Monday night, cut it a bit of slack, it's still being trialled.
I'm off to email the director of the Ashes from Channel 9 in Australia.
Talking of cricket, chap, I know absolutely nothing about cricket. If Australia win this, does it still count as a whitewash? Does it go down as 4-0 or does it?
No.
4.5.
You've got to
it would have had to be fine.
I thought you were going to say you were going to email the Director General there for a minute. No. How very like you that would be.
Fairly sure he has no idea who I am. But the director of the cricket in Channel 9, I'll be on to. Pull your socks up over the replays. You've just lost me an argument with John Murray. More from John Murray and Danny Mills to come here at the Emirates. And we're also going to go to Sydney and talk to Jonathan Overend live ahead of what is not going to be a whitewash in the Ashes after the latest BBC News.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
With the BBC News on 5 Live, I'm Alison Hughes. The Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt has apologised to patients after NHS England says it was postponing tens of thousands of operations and appointments until after this month because of winter pressures. The government says it doesn't mean the health service is in crisis. The Shadow Health Secretary John Ashworth disagrees.
The NHS is now in a very serious winter crisis. We've seen stories of ambulances backed up outside hospitals, of people waiting on trolleys in corridors for hours upon hours. We've even seen hospitals take to Twitter and Facebook pleading for staff to come in because they are in such dire straits.
A homeless man who claimed to have helped victims in the aftermath of the Manchester Arena attack has admitted stealing from some of them. Around £50,000 had been raised to help 33-year-old Chris Parker, but today he pleaded guilty to taking a purse and a mobile phone. He won't receive the donated money. A man's been remanded in custody, charged with murdering a 22-year-old woman in North London. The body of Juliana Tudos was found in Finsbury Park a week ago. Kasim Lewis, who's 31, is due at the Old Bailey on Friday. The former Crewe Alexandra coach, Paul McCann, has appeared in court charged with a series of sex offences. The 57-year-old is accused of indecently assaulting a teenage boy between 1987 and 1990. President Trump says his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, lost his mind after he was fired from his job at the White House. It's in response to the publication of a book which quotes Mr. Bannon as saying a meeting between the president's son and a group of Russians was treasonous. And a polar bear cub has been born in the UK for the first time in 25 years. Douglas Richardson from the Highland Wildlife Park in Scotland says they've heard cries from the mother's den but won't see the new arrival for some time.
They have a very poorly developed immune system, as many baby animals do, but it's exaggerated in polar bears. And mums have this extreme need for privacy, so any interruptions, disturbance can cause the mum to abandon or even kill the offspring.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, online, smartphone and tablet.
A look at the roads, and in Worcestershire on the M5 northbound, traffic's queuing there and main carriageway is closed. That's due to an earlier lorry file at junction 4 for Bromsgrove. And in Glasgow on the M8 eastbound, 2 lanes are closed. Delays there, that's due to an accident at junction 22 for the M77. Alison Hughes, 5 Live Travel.
Into 2018 with 5 Live.
It's a new year and it's a new show.
The Emma Barnett Show.
Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. For the biggest debates, the biggest interviews and your views playing centre stage. The Emma Barnett Show.
Starts Monday on 5 Live. This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
And here at the Emirates, it's goalless between Arsenal and Chelsea at half-time. Second half commentary to come. West Brom have confirmed in other sports news that Jake Livermore confronted a West Ham fan at the London Stadium after a comment was made about the death of his infant son. Manchester City's David Silva has revealed he missed recent matches because of the premature birth of his son. Wales wing George North is facing a race against time to be fit for the start of the Six Nations after suffering another knee injury. And the former England and Great Britain international Ryan Bailey has won a landmark case against UK anti-doping, becoming the first player to escape a drugs ban for refusing to submit a test sample. On to the cricket. The fifth and final Ashes Test gets underway in Sydney at 11:30 this evening. Ball-by-ball commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra. Australia lead the series 3-0 after drawing the fourth Test. Steve Smith wants to finish with a victory.
The guys are really motivated to come out here. The Sydney Test match, the pink Test match as it is, it's in its obviously 10th anniversary now of that. It's a special occasion, particularly for all of the guys that are from New South Wales. There's quite a few in the lineup, and we don't get to play at the SCG as often as we'd like in Shield cricket and stuff. So, you know, every opportunity we get to play on this ground, it's special, and it's another Ashes Test match, and guys need no more motivation. It's a great opportunity to try and win this Test match and win the series 4-0.
Well, Jonathan Overend is in Sydney for 5 Live Sport, and the weather might play a part here, Jonathan.
Yes, it's 20 to 8 in the morning here, Mark, and the SCG. I'm afraid the covers are on. It is raining, it is cool, it is very grey, very cloudy above, and the rain, which started as very light drizzle around about an hour ago, is now pretty steady rainfall, and there's no way they would be playing in this at the moment. So hopefully over the next few hours, obviously we've got a few hours until the start of play, it will clear, but the forecast is for a few showers. We could have some disruption today, and maybe a decision for whoever wins the toss as well. But the scene at the moment is a very grey and drizzly one here at the SCG.
And how are the Australian media building up to this, and how much interest are they showing towards what is a dead rubber of a Test match, given the Big Bash is in full swing as well?
Well, there's that, and of course the one-day squad was announced, and actually there's more talk of the omission of Glenn Maxwell, the batsman, from that and comments Steve Smith made about him yesterday than there is about building up to this Test match. So I think that gives you a little indication that for them, you know, the job is done in a way. They had hope for the whitewash, of course they had, and that's gone as well. But it's a regular feeling coming here to Sydney. I mean, the series hasn't been live getting to this stage for many, many moons. So it hasn't affected the interest of the members. I've got to say, as I look to my left here, Mark, it's, as I say, 7:45 in the morning, and yet the pavilion is virtually full already. The members, they queue for the best seats in the house. They might be sitting in the rain, but they've bagged the spots, and that's the scene to the pavilion to the left.
Jonathan, thank you very much. Jonathan Overend, who is live in Sydney for us, and there'll be plenty more build-up from 10 o'clock here on 5 Live Sport with Jonathan, and then 5 Live Sports Extra for ball-by-ball commentary throughout the evening, in the hope that play gets underway and the rain stops in Sydney. Let's focus on the second half here at the Emirates then, between Arsenal and Chelsea. Goalless at half-time. Darren has sent us a text say, if this is the type of game we get with so much fixture congestion, I say let them please play twice a week, every week. Damien says, Maitland-Niles impressing even the neutral fans, although the less said about his defensive teammates, the better. Danny Mills, they have looked shaky at times at the back of Arsenal.
Concentration issues more than anything else. It's not like they're not capable. I mean, it was Chambers that sort of ran away from the ball at one point. Holden had an issue where he probably should have headed it. I think Bakayoko was expecting him to head the ball, and because he didn't, caught him by surprise. Again, it's just concentration, lack of experience maybe at the back. Those two would be, I think, okay if Koscielny was in there. You know, Mustafi doesn't have that presence and probably doesn't have the vocal ability to really command those two players.
Is there a complacency about Chelsea, or I don't know, maybe you describe it as something else? They've had the more clear-cut chances, actually. Morata missing when clean through. There was Fabregas right at the end.
I think they've been surprised by the intensity of Arsenal. I think we all were, and we said that in the first half. They came out and they've been right at it, a little bit like they were against Tottenham. No one really saw that performance coming. be interesting to see, can they keep up that intensity for the second half?
John Murray, how do you think Anthony Taylor's done so far before we hand back to you?
How do I think he's done so far? Well, you know, obviously the big call was the penalty decision there. And, you know, with a naked eye, the feeling was that he called that correctly. You know, really tough one to call. The good thing was that he was 8 yards away from it, you know, so he was in the perfect position to see it. And as ever, they can only call it as they see it.
We've just had the tickets sold banner carried around the
59,379.
That's what they say. Tickets sold, not the attendance. The tickets sold. There are plenty of empty seats here as well, aren't there?
On the top
John
tier.
Murray. Yeah. And this is not a dig at Arsenal fans. This is just what fans have to go through the festive period. It is expensive to come and watch football, and you can understand the fact that there are empty seats around the country.
Yeah. Interesting as well, I was reading today the Football Supporters Federation talking about festive football, etc. They reckon the last time that they did a survey on, you know, whether it should change and we shouldn't have festive football, said that only 30-odd% of football supporters felt that there should be a change. They like the festive football. So here we are.
I assume this is on telly tonight somewhere,
yeah.
Wherever it is. Yeah. So again, you know, you're right. You know.
All over the world, Danny.
I knew I was talking about our country. How many season ticket holders do Arsenal have? You know, and like you said, it after the Christmas period, it does become expensive. You know, to come to another game, to get here, and everything that goes around with it, and it does make it difficult.
Second half just underway. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. First half, entertaining first half. Lots of opportunities, a little bit of controversy as well, and now Chelsea in possession inside their own half. The Arsenal team tonight in a moment, because a long raking pass towards Moses, who had strayed offside. So it's a free kick to the home side, the FA Cup holders, who have Petr Cech in goal. Chambers, Mustafi and Holding are their three central defenders here. Bellerin, Wilshere, Xhaka and Maitland-Niles, Ozil, Sanchez and Lacazette. So there's no Laurent Koscielny, but Mesut Ozil surprisingly passed fit to play, and he's played quite well, I must say as well. The word was that he didn't train yesterday, so I suspect he won't play the full match, Mesut Ozil. And Chelsea have the ball at the back. Christensen has made it a little tricky there for Gary Cahill, who had to scamper back to the dead ball line near the corner flag. And Chelsea are looking to pass it away from the back, which they have done. Alonso has done well. He's turned Bellerin. He'll have enjoyed that after Bellerin beat him a couple of times in the first half. Plays it infield towards Hazard. Hazard now running from near the halfway line. He's past Wilshere. He's got Alonso if he wants to use him. Alonso now drills it in low to the near post, but Chambers was able to come across, take a touch and clear it away towards the halfway line. So the Chelsea team that Antonio Conte, who is striding and stalking around on the edge of the coaching area, the team that he's picked tonight, Courtois, who's made one excellent save onto both posts from Sanchez. Azpilicueta, Christensen and Cahill. Kante in the middle. Moses and Alonso, the wing-backs. Bakayoko and Fabregas, either side of Kante. And Hazard and Morata, the front two. So 0-0 it is. 2 minutes played in the second half. 5 Live, the Premier League on 5 Live from the BBC. You can listen as well via the BBC Sport app, on the move, and also read all of the stats and whatnot on the website, as the ball is played back by Mustafi to his goalkeeper Cech to our right, as ever in the black padded head guard. 35 years old now, Petr Cech. Per Mertesacker is on the substitutes bench tonight, and Arsenal playing it to young Maitland-Niles, who gets a fortunate bounce of the ball against Moses. Moses, though, is able to come out with the ball and play it to Morata, who turns and then is caught by Holding. And Morata goes down.
Now, is that not a booking?
And that's given as a free kick. And the Chelsea players, Azpilicueta, Hazard, where's Fabregas?
Come on, chappers, you must have even seen that. You don't need a replay to see that. And that's what I'm saying. You give a very, very dubious one. It wasn't even a foul for Fabregas, and then he sides him down when he turned him. It's the most blatant booking of all time.
He won it so easily as well, Morata against Holding. All of the Champions League winning experience and his nous, and here he is, Morata. Mind you, that was sadly lacking when he had his opportunity in the first half, Morata.
And this is what that's what infuriates players. Now, Fabregas makes a good clean challenge. He's punished. Holding brings down Morata quite blatantly and effectively gets away with it.
Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. And still, as we can see from down here, ball's played forward from the angle by Fabregas. Hazard on his right foot, shoots, saved by the outstretched leg of Cech, who's quickly onto his feet because Bakayoko crosses, and the ball is headed across goal by Alonso, and Cech had to be lively there as well to his left to push it round the post.
Chelsea started the second half incredibly brightly. Conte clearly got into them at half-time.
Corner taken quickly. Fabregas plays it across, and Bakayoko, leaning Bakayoko, steers it over the angle of post and bar. That was a better chance than it might have initially appeared there for Bakayoko, and he's missed it.
Well, the first chance from Hazard, ball was slipped through on his right foot. Brilliant run, fabulous ball. Mustafi looked like he was running in treacle, couldn't get anywhere near it. Great save by Petr Cech. Then from the resulting corner, Arsenal went to sleep, and that was just after the header. It was a great save. I mean, we've seen some really good saves in this game from both goalkeepers. Marcos Alonso going very, very close.
But it remains 0-0. 5 minutes played in the second half on 5 Live. Tonight the final test, the 5th test, will begin in Sydney. The commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra, but as we heard from Jonathan Overend, it's raining. Maitland-Niles, does really well against Moses. Plays it in towards the back post, but a stretching, back-pedalling Sanchez can, as he falls backwards, only head it behind the far post for a goal kick.
Always going to be too high for Alexis Sanchez. Needed Per Mertesacker at the back post. Would have been a simple header for him.
It would not always have been too high for Mertesacker. In form he would have headed it in, but it was, as you say, Danny, always going to be too high for Sanchez, who can be no taller than 5'7", 5'8". So it remains 0-0. Obviously Sanchez's future remains an issue, but you know they've given total effort, Sanchez and Ozil, here tonight. Here is Moses crossing from the right, but it took a flick off the shin of Maitland-Niles, and that carried it towards Cech. And it's underarmed out by the Arsenal goalkeeper. Xhaka gets a touch, Wilshere too, out to the right-hand side. Now Bellerin joins in on the halfway line. It's played out towards the right-hand side, where Ozil now begins to move in field. He uses Wilshere. Wilshere again back in possession. His pass through the middle to Ozil, and now Sanchez angles it. Lacazette, brilliant turn, he's in, and his shot is saved by the blocking Courtois, who came out. What a move that was from Arsenal.
Excellent drag back turn. Ozil, Sanchez involved. Lacazette, he gets a little bit fortunate. He goes to make the turn, and it bounces off the Chelsea defender. I think it was Gary Cahill.
Corner's been taken, Danny. Short, it's played in, cleared away. The ball hits Anthony Taylor, and that means that Kante is able to play it away, where Hazard looked for a moment as though he was going to let it bounce out, but he's kept it in. Now Hazard. Ball is played right across the field by Fabregas, and there are spaces here, and it's being taken on by Alonso. And now the ball on the left-hand side. Morata takes on Bellerin, beats him, crosses. Hazard, bouncing volley. Cech comes, gets a punch on it under pressure, and the referee's blown a whistle for the challenge by Alonso in there on the Arsenal goalkeeper. And
see, that should be Rob Holding sent off. He took out Fabregas late here. 2-3 minutes ago,
line,
he took out Morata. Should be red carded. Arsenal should be down to 10 men
because Holding fouled Morata, early on in the second half, and has now received a second yellow card.
Yeah, so the first one was a blatant foul on Morata. That one was another foul, so therefore he should be down. Arsenal should be down to 10 men. Petr Cech, another very, very good save under pressure from Alonso. The free kick was given, but just before that, Lacazette, in the end, it looked like it got a ricochet off Gary Cahill, was in on goal, and he just seemed to hesitate and take too long.
A man who's not scored in 6 appearances, maybe with recent goals in him, the instinct there would have been simply to shoot, but now he gets another chance, right side of the penalty area, pulls it back, but defenders were in there, and it's blocked away to the edge of the area, where Fabregas is able to pass it forward. Zappacosta's going to come on very shortly.
Moses, perhaps?
Yeah, he has taken a couple of bangs, hasn't he, Victor Moses? And 0-0 remains the score. Tottenham, West Ham tomorrow night. You'll hear that in full on 5 Live as well. So that's Thursday night. And then Friday night, we've got the Merseyside derby, FA Cup tie, but also Manchester United derby on Friday night as well. That's on 5 Live Sports Extra. So both matches covered on Friday night, either here on 5 Live or on Sports Extra. And then many more to come. Here's Xhaka playing it through to the edge of the area, headed away by Azpilicueta. Lacazette to Wilshere, and then Wilshere takes it on. Christensen came in with a challenge. Wilshere went down. Referee Taylor said, no, that's not a free kick, on the edge of the penalty area, and play continues.
I think it was a free kick. Do you know why he didn't give it? Because there was a handball by Lacazette just before that, which he probably should have given and didn't. And then for the result, he thinks, well, I've missed one. I can't then give the second one.
Two wrongs?
Don't make a right, just bad refereeing.
Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. Maitland-Niles very nearly passed the ball to Hazard in the centre circle. He was fortunate. And then a long raking pass. Bellerin, not even Bellerin can reach that, but the defender got a touch on it, who was stretching for it, and that's another Arsenal corner from the right-hand side. Yeah, we're just seeing a replay, and you're absolutely right. And again, Wilshere, you know, that's one there where Wilshere has, as he was challenged, he is going down into the challenge of Christensen. Here's the corner for Arsenal. Chambers tried to shoot goalwards, but just got half a touch on it, really, and it was blocked away out for a throw on the far side.
He's waiting for the challenge to come in.
And here's the change as the ball is out of play, and it is Victor Moses.
It's one of those where he hangs his leg and waits for the contact to happen. You know, and those are the contentious ones.
Victor Moses, straight swap. Davide Zappacosta coming on to replace him. Victor Moses, remember, scored against Arsenal in the Community Shield match right at the start of the season at Wembley, which ended as a draw. Arsenal won it on penalties, and Moses, who was sent off in the FA Cup final against Arsenal last season for a dive, his second yellow card. Xhaka now on the left-hand side. Challenge comes in from Azpilicueta. Referee Taylor says final touch was back onto Xhaka, and it's a goal kick. Chelsea.
But do you not think, John, that even that system is a little bit flawed? Because if you get sent off for a dive, generally it affects it. It's 1 game ban. If you get done retrospectively, it's a 2 game ban.
I think that does need looking at, doesn't it? So 0-0. Chelsea with Courtois playing it out from the back. As I say, we'll be to Sydney at 10 o'clock tonight, to Jonathan Overend for the last half hour of 5 Live Sport. Then Phil Williams will take over, but obviously constant updates during the course of the night here on 5 Live. Hazard takes it on now. The challenge comes in from Mustafi. It's just a bit of a clumsy one, really. Free kick, middle of the Arsenal half.
How is that not a yellow card? He's taking him out around the hip.
Free kick, it's played square, shot from Kante, straight into Xhaka, who is 6 yards away from the ball, but it bounces to Alonso, who's lifted it across. Cech was struggling there for a moment. Bakayoko in the 6-yard area. It's cleared away. I think the Arsenal goalkeeper did get a touch to claw it out towards this side of the field, as Chelsea in this second half to play towards the end where their supporters are. The clock end, the famous Highbury clock. Huge white face with the black numerals hanging high above Petr Cech's goal, and Zappacosta's unable to keep this ball in just above his head, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Arsenal. So the eventful evening has continued into the second half here with chances at both ends. Christensen pumps the ball forward, and the referee has flagged for, is that for a handball?
Offside.
Free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, but the problem I have with challenges like that, it encourages people to do more. The game's changed since when I played. The game's moved on dramatically. You know, punching the other night on De Bruyne was incredibly late, was dangerous, endangered an opponent, was reckless, should be a red card. If he doesn't get a 3-game ban for that, or isn't punished properly, it encourages players to carry on doing it. De Bruyne was very, very lucky that wasn't a serious injury. And, you know, referees, first and foremost, we don't want that anymore. We don't want those sort of challenges. Like I said, that the game has moved on incredibly in the last 5-10 years from being allowed to make that sort of challenge.
Danny Mills with us on 5 Live tonight. Just over half an hour to play this Premier League match. Finished 0-0 between these sides at Stamford Bridge earlier in the season. I was at that game, I don't know if you were, Danny, but Arsenal played it very cannily that day. This has been a good deal more entertaining in terms of incident. And Arsenal coming forward now into the penalty area. Bellerin very nearly broke through in amongst a crowd of players. It's another fast Arsenal passing move, lots of quick passes, and in the end Bellerin, it just ran away and got a touch, and it's a corner to Arsenal from the right hand side. So Arsenal sent forward Mustafi. Holding is there as well. Here is the corner, and Chambers went for it, couldn't get a touch, and it was cleared away at the back post by the newly arrived Zappacosta. Hazard, challenged by Maitland-Niles. Now Sanchez gets a touch to take it away from Azpilicueta. Lacazette, now Sanchez on the left-hand side as spectators get to their feet in expectation, and Sanchez wins a corner off Azpilicueta.
Lacazette, he looks like he's lacking confidence, doesn't he? He's just taking maybe a touch too many, a fraction too long when he gets the ball.
Poor corner by Sanchez, easily cleared away at the near post by Fabregas. Gets a second chance to cross on his right foot, which he does. Now it's headed across the penalty area. Ozil was after it. It was just reached first for Chelsea by Azpilicueta inside the area. Sanchez crossing again from the left-hand side. That's gone right across to the far side where it's drilled across the penalty area. Courtois with a touch. Ozil is there. But the whistle had gone. For what?
I could say I'm not sure. The linesman hasn't put his flag up, or assistant referee, his proper name. Don't quite know what he gave that for. We're just having a look at the replay.
Well, Alonso went down in there.
Not a single player appealed.
Alonso went down, but for a challenge by Chambers.
But no one appealed for it, and that often tells you everything.
I have a feeling the whistle might have gone quite a little while before it actually ended up.
Yeah, it did. I think it did. But as I said, normally players know when it's a foul.
Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0, and Arsenal with this team that is considerably more severely injury hit than Chelsea at the current time. There's no Aaron Ramsey, remember, either for Arsenal, as well as those I've already mentioned. Here's Bellerin, who hits a low ball through from an angle, but Courtois was very quickly out and is able to smother the ball. May well have an interesting decision to make, Thibaut Courtois, Danny. You know, he's contracted to 2019. There seems to be strong talk of Real Madrid interest, but obviously Chelsea want to keep him. Wilshere plays it forward towards Lacazette. Only half a challenge from Azpilicueta. Lacazette now back to Ozil from the angle, plays it across, and what a crucial interception from Gary Cahill to sweep it away on the edge of the 6-yard area. Maitland-Niles now with a drive into the box, and he's won a corner from the left.
Fabulous play from Mesut Ozil. Plays a little 1-2 with Lacazette, gets in behind, and he's almost too close to the goalkeeper. He tries to be unselfish and square it. But like you said, Gary Cahill just gets a foot in. But again, Ozil, it's been fabulous when he's had the ball tonight.
Courtois did well there as well. Here's Ozil now. The corner was taken short again. Ozil to the edge of the area. Wilshere could be in. He is! Wilshere scores! Left-footed on the stretch from the angle. It kissed the top of the post on the way into the roof of the net. And Jack Wilshere has given Arsenal the lead against Chelsea 1-0.
Fabulous strike from Wilshere. Courtois, absolutely no chance. Into the near post, but in the top corner. In off the post. He was stretching as well. Threw his body at it. Managed to get it goalwards with his outstretched left foot. Fabulous finish. Courtois, people will say, well, it goes at the near post, but I don't think he's got any chance in that. Really powerfully struck. Wilshere starts off the move, out to Ozil, plays it inside. They get a little bit of luck, comes off Morata. The ball deflected through to Wilshere, who's onto it quick as a flash. Kante can't get there, and Wallop, back of the net.
Well, we always say, don't we, that Jack Wilshere should score more often. That's his first goal in the Premier League since his return to Arsenal. He has scored previously this season, but that was in the Europa League against Bate Borisov last month. So Jack Wilshere has produced the goal and Arsenal lead 1-0. And now Ozil plays it through to Sanchez, right side of the area. Sanchez back to Lacazette, trying to work a position and shoots via a deflection, narrowly wide of the post. Arsenal close to 2-0 suddenly.
Again, counter-attack from Arsenal. Sanchez, I thought he was going to square it earlier, cuts inside onto his left foot. Again, there's the little ricochet, comes inside. Lacazette in the end, and it's Azpilicueta. And then another fabulous save from Thibaut Courtois.
Courtois with the final touch to send it round from Azpilicueta. So Arsenal leading Chelsea by 1-0. Ozil with the corner, waiting and waiting. Arsenal on top here. Referee Taylor blows the whistle. Ozil now curls it in towards the near post. Stretch from Lacazette, playing it back out towards the right-hand side. And Sanchez up against... and he's actually run it straight behind in trying to twist and turn near the dead ball line.
It'd be interesting to hear from Arsenal fans afterwards, John. Would it worth be breaking the bank to keep Sanchez and Ozil now? Just almost give them what they want, because what's it going to cost to replace them both? At least £75 million each in terms of a transfer fee. You know, tonight they've both been excellent,
haven't they? Just, you know, the fact that they are now, it's January now, they can be approached. You know, they may only have a matter of months left as Arsenal players, but you cannot question their effort and commitment here tonight. So it is Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. Jack Wilshere scoring the goal, who has been booked, and I know that some listeners are wondering whether he indeed should even have been on the field. We'll come back to that, because Chelsea are in the penalty area with Hazard on the left-hand side. Hazard cuts back, crosses, that hits a defender, bounces down, and the penalty has been given.
Correct decision.
Hazard was caught there, the ball had gone. Mustafi complains about it, but just a matter of a couple of minutes after Arsenal took the lead, Chelsea have a penalty here.
I think it's the right decision. Mustafi, outstretched leg on Hazard as it bounces up, makes no contact with the ball. I think he catches Hazard, he kicks his foot. It's only a toe poke, but he kicks his ankle. Foul.
Yeah, it was a bouncing ball. Hazard was trying to stab it away, to poke it away, and Mustafi tried to reach it, tried to kick out of the bouncing ball.
Was it?
The ball had gone.
It might have been Bellerin.
The ball had gone. Hazard was caught, and it is a penalty, which Hazard is going to take to make it 1-1. Sends Cech the wrong way, and Chelsea equalise from the penalty spot through Eden Hazard. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1.
Cool as you like, fabulous penalty. Waited for Petr Cech to dive, goes the wrong way and just tucks it in the other corner. Arsenal players are going to the referee complaining, but it was a penalty. Needless challenge, didn't need to make it. There's a toe poke on his ankle. But as we've seen, if you do that, he's going to go down. It is.
Yeah, Bellerin, you're absolutely right.
It catches him.
The bouncing ball, Hazard was trying to poke it back towards the edge of the penalty area, just got there to poke it away first as Bellerin came in with the challenge. Foot was high, caught his ankle, and referee Taylor spotted it and correctly gave the penalty to Chelsea. 1-1. And now Chelsea break away again. Arsenal could have been 2-0 up, but now have been pegged back to 1-1. Point I was going to make, incidentally, Jack Wilshere had been booked. Remember, he went down on the edge of the area, looked like it was a dive, wasn't booked for that. Suggestion being that he may be lucky still to have been on the field when he scored Arsenal's opening goal. So Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1, and Danny Drinkwater, I see, is being prepared by Antonio Conte. That would be Arsenal's second substitution. Chelsea's second substitution.
Perhaps?
Be the most likely, wouldn't he? You can have a word on how you feel that he has performed tonight. There's quite a lot of scrutiny at the moment about how he's playing. Ball played forward, Bakayoko is through. Well, the Arsenal defence hesitated again, and were very fortunate that Maitland-Niles was able to come across and put in the challenge and get them out of a deal of trouble there.
That's 3 times, just long, hopeful balls over the top, and Arsenal have nearly been caught out on all 3 occasions. I mean, Bakayoko, a little bit like Lacazette, maybe just lacking a little bit of confidence, just hesitating slightly.
Chelsea win it back from Wilshere in the middle of the half, and then Hazard could have rolled it out to Morata and hit it straight at the Arsenal defender. And Arsenal have possession again back on the halfway line. Antonio Conte wants Drinkwater on the field ASAP. Sanchez playing it forward, gets it back, but the ball bounces away from Alexis Sanchez into the full-back area where Zappacosta is going to run it away. Although Maitland-Niles has done extremely well tonight, Maitland-Niles. Chelsea up towards Hazard, Wilshere, after it's won back by Mustafi, and then it's lost by Xhaka, and the ball is played through for Morata, and Morata is away from Mustafi from the angle, shoots over the angle, and Arsenal escape again.
Chambers puts him under pressure, but he's got to do better than that. Fabregas wins the initial ball. Mustafi's arguing, I think, with Rob Holding in the middle of the pitch. Chambers sliding challenge in the end. Morata goes wide and then tries to sort of cut it back and dink it over Cech. Doesn't quite wrap his foot around it enough. Another great chance. He should hit the target. Conte on his knees on the touchline, banging the floor.
Still 1-1, and it's Fabregas who makes way.
But the interesting bit, that Mustafi turned round and was screaming at Rob Holding.
This is a mixed response, incidentally, Danny, for Fabregas. Some are booing him, some are giving him a standing ovation. And these are Arsenal fans I'm talking about.
I'm not sure he's bothered either way.
No. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I can't believe Mustafi sort of turned and arguing with Rob Holding and just stopped. And that was what created the space for Morata to run into. I mean, Arsenal have been very, very fortunate. That's now 4 times that Chelsea have had one-on-one situations.
Plenty to talk about from this match this evening. Arsenal won, Chelsea won, and the 5 Live Football Social will be on air for probably around about 20 minutes before we cross to Sydney at 10 o'clock, Sydney, Australia, that is. Here's Xhaka, who is able to work the ball via a deflection to Sanchez. Sanchez, and a high ball in, but that bounces straight across the penalty area and through for a goal kick. So 08085 909 693. Henry Winter from the Times, I think, is joining us for those last 20 minutes as well. So then Jonathan Overend at 10 o'clock with Ebony Rainford Brent, and from 10:30 Phil Williams. And being a Wednesday, it is a team talk night in Phil's programme. After 11:30, more football talk with Conor McNamara and Ian Herbert of the Mail with Phil after 11:30 this evening.
I think from Arsenal fans, you want to hear, should you break the bank, go all out, whether that be give both Ozil and Sanchez, give them a massive lump sum and still big wages, because what's it going to cost to replace these 2 players?
Massive lump sum. I like the sound of that. Here's Kante, who runs the ball forward from the halfway line. Arsenal players in his wake, gives it to Zappacosta. Now it back to Kante, shoots, deflected, with Cech leaping to his right. I think he knew it was going to drop wide, but it did off an Arsenal defender, and it's a corner to Chelsea.
But it's end-to-end stuff. Both teams creating chances. It was looping. I think Cech always knew that it was just going to go wide of that far post.
Eden Hazard is cheered to the rafters. There's quite a bit of talk about his speculation at the moment by the Chelsea fans. Plays it into the near post, headed away by Maitland-Niles. Out for a throw.
Real Madrid have said they're not interested, aren't they? Although Zidane wants him.
Well, let's see. Talk of interesting Kante as well from Real Madrid, and here he is, a brilliant little midfielder for Chelsea and France, crossing it to Zappacosta, ball across the Arsenal penalty area, hooked away by Xhaka. All of a sudden Arsenal looking a little tired here. I wonder if Arsene Wenger's thinking about making a change. Lacazette was late there on Cahill, bouncing ball, Lacazette went in. It was a forwards challenge really, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
Surely the yellow card's going to come out. It's not. I mean, it's. I don't understand what the referee's thinking. Unless he realises maybe I made a mistake in the first half and shouldn't have booked somebody, and now actually I'm just going to try and keep the card away. But you've got to be consistent.
Chelsea free kick. Hazard's going to play it in. Took a flick off an Arsenal head. It breaks for Holding to clear, which he does towards the halfway line.
You don't always get consistency from game to game, because it's different referees and different perspectives and all that. But you've got to have consistency within the same game.
1-1. If it stays like this, Chelsea will stay in third place, 1 point behind Manchester United, with Manchester City away in the distance. They would their 15-point lead would obviously remain, stretching by the week, it seems. Zappacosta playing it up towards Morata. Mustafi, though, is able to steer it on the fall back to Cech on the edge of his penalty area. So 08 085 909 693. You can text now on 85058, or as ever, all the time, get in touch at 5Live Sport if you use social media. Just search at 5Live Sport. Ball's out of play for an Arsenal throw deep in Chelsea territory after a good spell for Chelsea. Arsenal could have been 2-0 up. Chelsea equalised, have had other opportunities, and now Arsenal coming forward as they play from right to left as we look here. Xhaka, Granit Xhaka to Maitland-Niles on the left-hand side. Now Sanchez works it between the legs of the Chelsea man through to Maitland-Niles, who's not able to take advantage on the edge of the area. It's won back by a sliding Bellerin. And now Maitland-Niles. Arsenal. Here's the Arsenal goal scorer, Jack Wilshere, who chips it across to Bellerin. Bellerin now gets it down, plays it to the right-hand side. Ozil's ball into the penalty area, it bounces off Lacazette. Remember, of course, there's no Olivier Giroud at the moment because of his hamstring injury. Holding dives in on the halfway line. Hazard now back, heels it towards Morata. Morata to the edge of the area, goes round Mustafi, plays it across, and Cech had to fall on it because Eden Hazard was there on the edge of the 6-yard area.
Again, Mustafi looks like he's really struggling for pace, doesn't he? Morata gave him a yard and a half and still just drifted past him.
After an initial mistake by Holding near the halfway line. Still 1-1. Chelsea simply haven't been able to make Arsenal pay for the errors that they have made at the back so far. 15 minutes to play. Still no sign, Danny, of an Arsenal change. Still the 11 who started the match here. Arsene Wenger making 3 changes, but at the end of this run of games over Christmas and New Year, Arsenal with it halfway inside their own half. I guess they'll all, the Premier League teams, this is the shame of it. The schedule is that the Premier League teams will be all dramatically changed, won't they? A raft of changes for all of them for the FA Cup third round this coming weekend. Alonso is just able to see the ball out for a goal kick. Both Arsenal and Chelsea face challenging matches away from home against Championship opposition. Chelsea go to Norwich on Saturday tea time. That's one of our multitude of 5 Live commentary matches, as is Arsenal's game at Nottingham Forest on Sunday afternoon.
I think even with much changed sides, I don't really see either team having a huge problem against those.
I think Danny Welbeck might be getting himself ready. That would be Arsenal's first change. We're well into the last 15 minutes now as the ball's on the halfway line and Lacazette is caught, and it's a free kick just inside Chelsea territory. Arsenal played across to Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles passes it in between Wilshere and Sanchez and straight through to Cech. So Chelsea will begin again from the back. Christensen passes it forward towards Drinkwater. Drinkwater crosses the halfway line. Alonso shapes himself and passes a ball down into the full-back position for Morata to chase. Should have scored early in the match. Morata takes on the defender, goes down up against Chambers. No free kick. Chelsea fans were shouting for it. Morata gets to his feet and walks back towards the halfway line. And then Ozil isn't able to find Sanchez. I did wonder whether Ozil would be able to play the full 90 minutes. Ball played up the right-hand side for Zappacosta. Maitland-Niles very quickly back into position to beat Zappacosta and give it to Wilshere, who didn't have much space there, and is caught by Bakayoko though, so he's able to win Arsenal a free kick. Oh, Ozil received a yellow card in there somewhere, possibly for dissent. So you can add Ozil's name to the list of those booked. We have just over 10 minutes of the match plus added time, and then, as ever, 5 Live
Football
Social.
Right after the penalty. Must have been for the penalty decision.
After the penalty, yeah. 08085 909 693. Get in touch at 5 Live Sport. Arsenal with Bellerin and Chambers in danger of losing possession. Chambers caught in possession. Now Morata turns it towards the left-hand side, but couldn't find the pass to Alonso. And then Drinkwater is beaten in the challenge. And Arsenal have it again. Ball played down the flank for Lacazette to chase, but Lacazette puts in the challenge on Cahill, who took the opportunity, took the invitation to go down because he knew the contact was coming, and it's a free kick to Chelsea. And
Arsenal substitution.
It's Lacazette.
Alex Lacazette.
So another match for Lacazette without scoring. That's now his last 7 Arsenal appearances. And as we've suggested, he has had opportunities this evening, but Courtois has been up to all of them.
And Welbeck's on. I think just that lack of confidence, just hesitated a fraction at times, and that's meant the goalkeeper's been able to make the save.
And at the moment, Danny Welbeck has taken up a position on the left-hand side, and Sanchez is furthest forward. Still 1-1. And the ball is being headed back by Mustafi, who is falling as he did so back to Petr Cech. Heart in mouth stuff. Willian is being prepared. That will be Chelsea's final change. Into the last 10 minutes we go. Still 1-1. Wilshere through the middle towards Sanchez. It's allowed to run, and then it's chipped across the back line by Chambers to Rob Holding, who's played it as the left-sided central defender tonight, and certainly not looked comfortable at all times. Rolled across by Arsenal to Xhaka. Now Maitland-Niles on the left-hand side, but this is lacking the usual Arsenal zip, this move. Maitland-Niles, though, drops a shoulder, plays a high ball across the edge of the penalty area and invites Alonso to head it away, and then a shove on Chambers by Morata, which was spotted. Morata plays the innocent, palms apart. Free kick, though, taken for Arsenal towards the edge of the area. Sanchez comes back. Wilshere. Now, again, Chambers. Ozil on the right-hand side. Finds its way back to the gloved Ozil. Puts his foot on the ball. Turns, plays it with his right foot to Bellerin on the right-hand side, who takes on Alonso. Bellerin gets over the cross to the back post. Zappacosta was there to head it up and away. And Bakayoko stretches a leg but can only prod it out of play, and I think we'll see that change now. And it's Hazard who makes way.
Substitution, Eden Hazard.
Well, he's getting boos obviously for going down for the penalty, but for those Arsenal fans that haven't seen the replays, it was a clear penalty. And a fabulous finish as well. Very, very cool under pressure.
So Willian comes on, and that's it in terms of the changes that Antonio Conte can make. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1. It stays like this, as I say, Chelsea will be 1 point behind Manchester United. Arsenal will be 1 point behind Tottenham, as Holding overhits a pass forward. No chance Welbeck was going to get that, and it's through and behind for a goal kick. So Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1. 5 Live Football Social till 10 o'clock, then we'll be till Sydney. And as ever, during the course of this Ashes series, the Ashes breakfast will be in full operation in the morning. And also in the morning, you'll be able to download Michael Vaughan's Test Match Special podcast. There's the pint-sized Ashes review as well, providing the rain stops. Last we heard, the covers were on and it was raining in Sydney. It's dry in London. Here's Willian swinging the ball out towards the right-hand side, where Zappacosta takes on Maitland-Niles, who just got an important touch on that. Zappacosta tries again and does go round him, plays the ball in, and Alonso is there in the 6-yard box to score and give Chelsea the lead. They've come from 1-0 down, and Chelsea now 2-1 up. And Alonso is mobbed by his teammates in the corner of the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2.
Excellent play from Zappacosta. Fabulous ball driven out wide by Willian. He's in space. He looked to try and knock it past Maitland-Niles first time. Maitland-Niles got there, but on the second attempt, He goes past Maitland-Niles far too easily, and he fires it across the 6-yard box. Just drives it in, hard and low. He's not looking for anyone in particular. He's just putting it into an area. And it's Marcos Alonso gets across Mustafi, who's caught sleeping, and he taps it into the far corner. Petr Cech, absolutely no chance. And that's purely down to concentration. Firstly, Maitland-Niles, and then Mustafi getting beaten to the ball.
What an excellent finish, though, by the left wing-back to steal across the penalty area. Lovely deft touch, wasn't it, with his right instep. I mentioned the fact that he's in very good goal-scoring form for a left wing-back. That's now 6 this season, and he's scored 3 in his last 5 appearances, Marcos Alonso. And I remember, were you and I together when he scored 2 goals against Tottenham at Wembley early on in the season? So scored the winning goals against Tottenham away from home, and quite possibly against Arsenal away from home, Marcos Alonso this season. 2-1 Chelsea lead.
Well, I think you'll be interviewing Arsene Wenger possibly afterwards.
I will be.
Going to ask him if he's going to concede the title.
I've heard him be asked that so many times already this season, just like everyone else apart from Pep Guardiola.
But is he going to finally admit it? Well, they're 24 points.
24 points.
24 points behind Man City. They're closer to the relegation zone.
Here's Xhaka to the right-hand side. Might not necessarily be the question that he wants to be asked tonight. Ozil playing it across towards Maitland-Niles, just outside the area. Arsenal now having led in the match, and remember, they had the chance to go 2-0 up, now trying to find an equaliser. Ball played right across towards the left corner of the box. It's teed up towards the back post where it's headed away, and then shot goalwards by Bellerin, deflects across the box. Suddenly Chelsea are scrambling here. Ozil on the left-hand side. Ozil passed it straight at Bakayoko, and Chelsea now might be able to break out, and Morata is surely was blocked there by Holding. No, it's not giving us a free kick.
You know why? Because he's got to send him off if he gives that free kick. I think that's why he doesn't give that.
Though, yeah.
Oh, definitely. But if he gives the free kick, he has to book him. He's already on a yellow card. He should have booked him twice already, probably, in my opinion.
Mustafi now in the centre circle.
This has massive connotations though for Arsenal. From leading 1-0, Ozil Sanchez playing well, worked hard. They must be thinking, hang on a minute, we've worked our socks off. We got you in front. We've created chances, and we've still lost. There must be a point where they start to think, well, what's the point? If you don't make investment, if you don't start buying better defenders, we might as well leave now.
But Arsenal, without Kolasinac and without Monreal, without Koscielny, here come Arsenal low on the right-hand side with Welbeck into the penalty area. Tried to play it across, but it was blocked by Christensen sliding in for a corner from the right-hand side. And there were, well, 2 Arsenal shirts in the middle. Both Sanchez and Ozil were there, but Welbeck couldn't find them. Theo Walcott's coming on for Arsenal. It's a corner. Is he going to make the change before the corner? Yes, he is, and it is one of the 3 central defenders. So it's a switch to a back 4 now for Arsenal. Theo Walcott comes onto the field. Well, there is talk that he might be on the way from Arsenal in this transfer window. Theo Walcott, almost 400 appearances. Here is the corner for Arsenal, but Courtois comes and is able to punch away quite comfortably. Got a leap on it and sort of dabbed it away. Comes back though. Ozil plays it in from the right, headed away by Christensen. Volley by Mustafi, hit it well, but it was blocked by a couple of defenders. A double deflection inside the Chelsea penalty area. And now here's Ozil playing it in from an angle. Alonso gets his head to it, to only partly head it away, but it comes back to the man who might well have scored the winning goal, Alonso, who is able to sweep it away towards the halfway line. We've got 2 minutes to play, plus added time. Chelsea are leading by 2-1 here at the Emirates Stadium. Walcott now into the action, but couldn't either win a corner or keep the ball in, and it's a goal kick to Chelsea. Danny Mills.
Wow, fabulous damage. Arsenal now putting high balls into the box. They don't have the forward players in. They don't have Giroud on the pitch to do that. They don't have a Morata-style player that can head the ball for that. So they've got to keep playing. They've got to try and work those little 1-2s around the edge of the box. But just on the Theo Walcott, there's no one outside the top 6 really that can probably afford his wages. You know, that might be a massive problem for him.
Lots and lots of empty red seats now appearing around the stadium. Arsenal, if it stays like this, are heading to what would be only their second home defeat of the season in all competitions. But Manchester United having won here, and now Chelsea winning here by 2-1. And Arsenal with the ball at the back, the Chelsea supporters in great voice. Arsenal giving it to Maitland-Niles, who's now operating as the left back. Holding and Mustafi, the two central defenders. Ball played over the top, but Walcott had strayed offside, and it bounced through for a goal kick in any case. We're in the 90th minute now. We'll see Craig Pawson very shortly, heading down towards the side of the pitch.
I don't think there should be too much injury time, should there? I mean, there's been no real injuries, with no real sort of large stoppages. We'll probably see the mandatory fall.
One team in London, the Chelsea supporters are singing. Courtois hits this free kick, long and downfield. It's come off Morata. Antonio Conte is almost dancing a jig on the edge of his coaching area, trying to preserve this 2-1 lead that his team has got. It would be 6 wins and a draw from their last 7 matches. It's 4 minutes of added time. You called it, Danny.
There's not been a single injury.
Mustafi being put under pressure by Willian, plays it across to Holding. Holding slips. Morata just put in the challenge, and Holding had already slipped there, and Morata needlessly fouled him. So just hearing the covers are coming off in Sydney, so it's obviously stopped raining. Play due to begin at 11:30 UK time. The toss 10:30. You'll hear it on 5 Live and on Sports Extra. Lines are open, 08085909693. Take a Coastal 10.
I think we missed Courtois getting a booking as well for time wasting in that last goal kick.
Well done. Arsenal coming forward, ball driven across the penalty area. Sanchez takes it down, shoots on the turn, but it was blocked away by Azpilicueta. Ball played back in by Wilshere, but beyond Alonso, and it bounces out into the full-back position, where Willian is back there, twisting one way and the other against Danny Welbeck, and passing it away, but Kante stretched for it, couldn't clear it. Wilshere now, Wilshere back towards Maitland-Niles on the corner of the box. Maitland-Niles put under pressure by Zappacosta, now square from Wilshere. Ozil outside the penalty area, now to the right hand side. Bellerin in the box, drives it across to the back post. Sanchez got his head to it, but at that pace couldn't do anything with it other than head it back across the penalty area. Comes to Arsenal again, deep into the 4 minutes of added time. We're in the second of them. Chelsea lead by 2-1. Wilshere strokes it forward towards Mustafi on the left hand side. He crosses, aiming for Welbeck, headed away. Shot is in from Bellerin. He caught it on the half volley, and the man who conceded the penalty at one end strikes in added time to make it Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2.
Just looking at fans in front of us going absolutely delirious. Let's just say getting a little bit carried away. They are enjoying. Brilliant finish from Hector Bellerin. Comes down to it. Alonso is the man that gets half a clearance on it, and he hits it on the half volley. It's on the rise as well, does incredibly well to keep it down. Kante can't go out there quick enough, and it inches.
Ball's played over the top for Chelsea though. Morata with a chance to win it. He shoots straight at Cech. Then it comes out and it hits the crossbar from Zappacosta. Oh, what a finish. Goodness me, how did Chelsea not score again there? Morata once again one-on-one with Cech and unable to beat the former Chelsea goalkeeper. And Zappacosta then a snapshot from the edge of the area which cannoned against the crossbar. What a remarkable game it's been. It's 2-2 and it's not over yet. And Arsenal coming forward, but an overhit pass from Xhaka will run through for a goal kick. 2-2, Danny Mills.
Incredible. Again, the fans just to our left-hand side, Arsenal fans, delirious at one moment, and then hurling sheer abuse at the other end as the defenders go missing again. I mean, that's 3 clear one-on-ones, at least, that Morata's had himself. And the follow-up from Zappacosta slams it against the crossbar. How Morata hasn't scored, I do not know.
We are still playing. We're in the 4th minute. We've got 30 seconds to play. The score is Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2. What entertainment it's been. And I mean, so many Arsenal fans left the ground when Chelsea were leading by 2-1. And yet they've come and scored this late goal through Hector Bellerin. And now Sanchez, this could be the last action of the game. Sanchez turns inside, plays it across. Cahill is able to dive and head it away. Drinkwater might be caught in possession. No, he's fouled by Sanchez. And that's the end of it. 2-2. And Arsene Wenger walks across. Stern look on his face. Antonio Conte, the two of them actually have a quick embrace there. And then Conte turns away, hands on his hips, looking at the ground, wondering, how did my team not win that?
I think both managers have been saying exactly the same thing. I mean, such an abundance of chances at both ends. Absolutely incredible. Morata, 3 one-on-ones on his own. I mean, Arsenal chances, great saves from both goalkeepers. Absolutely incredible, the amount of chances.
Yeah, have to get our breath back after that. 2-2, Jack Wilshere, all the goals coming in the second half. Jack Wilshere giving Arsenal the lead. Could easily have gone 2-0 up, but then the penalty that was scored by Eden Hazard. Marcus Alonso stealing in. Poor defensive work really from Arsenal to put them 2-1 up. That was in the 84th minute. And I mean, it looked all over, but Arsenal found the goal through Hector Bellerin in the 2nd minute of added time, and yet there was still time then for Chelsea to have that golden opportunity for Morata. One-on-one with Cech, shot straight at him, and then from the rebound, Zappacosta struck the crossbar with his dipping volley. And it's finished Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2. Quite a night, Mark Chapman.
Great game. Remarkable ending, Danny Mills.
Absolutely incredible. Now, it looks like at half-time that Arsenal had to score. Before half-time, they were on top. And the referee's getting booed by the Arsenal fans. But he was right to give the penalty. The clear penalty on Hazard from Bellerin. But second,
Clear? Clear?
Yeah, it was, yeah. We said instantly. You don't think it was? We said before we looked at the replays, penalty.
Okay.
Well, he caught him, didn't he? Go on. What did you say?
I thought he went. I thought he also went down very easily for that kick.
But I tell you what, last night, the Swansea game, Ayew at the end of the game, Lloris came out as he went past him, probably got caught, but didn't go down, and nothing happens. So therefore, managers will tell players, and referees know, if you don't go down, there's not a chance that you'll get a penalty. So you have to go down and then let the referee make a decision.
I know,
it was a penalty. He got kicked. It's a penalty.
My point being is, and you could look at it for when Wilshere went over the leg of Christensen as well in that second half. You know, for all we look at referees and for all we criticise referees and for all we talked about the standard of them going into this game, so much of this game gets harder and harder to referee because of the behaviour of players. Yes, I accept the Mike Dean handball incident at West Brom, a complete and utter mistake, and not. But so many of them, the players, the managers, they don't help themselves.
Oh no, but players are always going to be one step ahead of the officials. They'll always be finding new ways to get around it, to make it look like a foul. You know, dangling leg, hanging a leg out is one of the worst things that they do. You know, trying to instigate the foul by drifting a leg towards the defender. There is a massive advantage in winning free kicks and winning penalties. So players will always take the risk.
85058 at 5 Live Sport, 08085 909 693. George, to me, none of the controversies have mattered. What an absolutely brilliant game to watch, helped by some shocking passing and some shocking misses. Still utterly brilliant to watch. Luke, both managers have reason to complain about more poor officiating in the Premier League. Surely it has to get sorted soon. As I say, 85058 at 5 Live Sport. But at the very start of that answer, before I butted in on the Hazard penalty, it was a great game.
Oh, it was absolutely magnificent. I just wonder if maybe, because both teams were going for it, the inexperienced Arsenal back three, I mean, 5 times, I think, just allowed the ball to go over the top and allowed players through one-on-one. Chelsea could have scored. Well, Morata could have easily scored a hat-trick just by one-on-ones without any other chances. I mean, where the defence went at times, I do not know. But then both keepers made great saves. Courtois, the 2 saves in the first half were absolutely exceptional. Cech made a couple of really good saves as well. Thoroughly entertaining game. Part of it may be down to tiredness. As players start to get tired, they start to make mistakes. Concentration just ebbs away a little bit. And maybe that is why we saw such an open game.
Rob, great goal by Wilshere, but he shouldn't have been on the pitch. He should have been sent off for diving. James, can you please... Are you doing the Arsene Wenger interview, John Murray?
I am, yes.
Can you please ask Wenger after the game, says James, if he thinks Wilshere should have been on the pitch?
And Rob Holding as well.
Because Wilshere, I can guarantee...
Anyone else on the list?
Well, from James, it's only Jack Wilshere. But he was going down and then put his leg into Christensen. Is that how you saw it, Danny Mills?
Yeah, it was. And
so what is that then?
Well, he didn't give the foul, did he? Or did it?
No,
he didn't.
No.
So if he sees, and the same
because there was the handball.
Yeah,
5 seconds before
and same with the Maitland-Niles one. It's like, well, if you've seen it and not given the penalty, and you've gone down and appealed for a penalty, you're clearly trying to con the referee, are you not? So that should be a booking. Will they look at that retrospectively? I think the punishment for diving or throwing a leg into an opponent needs to become a little bit harsher. Needs to go from maybe a 2-game ban to a 3-game ban, and then it becomes a real deterrent to players. Because at the moment, if you're on a booking, you'd probably take a 1-game ban to get a penalty, get back in the game. I think most players and most managers would accept that. So yeah, you know what, take a chance. If you're on a booking, have a go. If you get sent off, you get sent off, but it's probably a 50-50 to whether you get the penalty or get a booking and get that 1-match suspension.
Here are all the Arsenal fans on the Eden Hazard penalty. James, Hazard deceived the referee, slight contact, but he threw himself to the ground. Elliot, Arsenal always defending dangerously, but another shocking decision there could quite well have cost us another 2 points. And Russ says it is plain and simple cheating. That's what it counts. If that is what counts as a penalty in today's game, then it is a sorry state of affairs.
Right, you have to go by what the laws of the game are. Bellerin went to kick the ball, missed it and kicked Hazard. Doesn't matter how hard he kicked him, he kicked Hazard. Simple as that. It's a foul. Therefore, it's a penalty.
Hazard and Bellerin have just spoken to television. Hazard said we should score more goals. We had a lot of chances. A draw is a good result for both teams, though. So we are happy. We should have won this game. Bellerin says, I tried to challenge Hazard for the ball. I know he's quick in the box. We both got to the ball at the same time. And the referee gave the penalty. Let's talk to Chris, who's an Arsenal fan. Evening, Chris.
Hello.
Hi. What do you want to say to Danny this evening?
That ain't a penalty, mate.
Why is it not a penalty?
So, if you look at the replay, as you said, they've both gone for the ball.
Yeah.
If he clipped him, it was probably the least amount of, he's not barely touched him, and he's thrown himself to the floor holding his shin.
If he kicks him really hard and doesn't go down, is that a penalty?
That's academic because
no, it's not.
If he ended up, if he kicked him,
you're going on depends how hard he kicks him.
No, it's not on how hard he kicks him. At the end of the day, he's barely touched him. And
Did he touch him? Did he touch Hazard? Did he touch Hazard?
Not really.
Yes or no? Did he touch Hazard?
No.
Well, then you need to get your eyes tested.
Not really. I think you do, mate. At the end of the day, when it comes to a penalty, there was no.
Look at the replay. Look at Match of the Day. Look at whatever's on telly tonight. He touched